Sorry, bro. Could you please state your name and spell your last for the jury?
My name is Megan Eigenbrot. Last name is spelled Eigenbrot.
Ms. Eigenbrot, would you mind if I called you Megan for the rest of this proceeding?
No, please. Most people call me Megan.
Megan, what was your daughter's name?
Her name was Tamara Eigenbrot. I always called her Tammy. She was just my little bundle of awesome joy, sunshine in my life. Very, very sad to have her gone.
What happened to Tammy?
On the night that my house was burned to the ground, I could not get her out in time, and she burned alive.
On July 19th, 2014, where did you live?
I lived at 918 Spring Street here in Queen City.
And what county is that in?
Mecklenburg County.
Do you know a person named Joshua Walls?
Yes, I know Joshua. We used to date, but I broke up with him.
And before July 19th, what type of relationship had you had with a Joshua Walsh?
Well, I guess we really started our relationship about 3 years ago. He used to live next door to me, but came on some trouble and hard times, and he was a nice guy back then, and he couldn't live there anymore, and so I let him move in with me as a favor, and then we started dating, and dated for a while, but we broke up 3 weeks before my house burned down. The house burned on July 19th, and we broke up about 3 weeks before that.
How did the breakup go?
Well, I initiated the breakup. I asked him to move out and to move his stuff out, but I tried to be as nice a guy as possible. He had fallen on hard times, and I wanted to help him get away from me as quickly as possible. And so I helped him find a job, helped him find a place to stay, bought him some groceries for his apartment, even gave him some stuff out of my house to keep in his new apartment, just to get him all set up.
Do you recognize Joshua Wallace here today?
I do. He's the man sitting over there in the black and white striped polo shirt.
Your Honor,
It's like Asian descent.
Your Honor, would you let the record reflect the witness as ID the defendant
Witness will the record will so reflect.
as Joshua Wallace? What changed after you broke up with the defendant?
Well, nothing much. Tammy and I just tried to move on with our lives without Joshua. And I rearranged the house a little bit and tried to keep Tammy's routine as normal as possible. I wanted to do what was best for her.
Had you started any relationships after the breakup?
I did start seeing someone else. We had him over a few times. I had him over that Friday night, July 18th, right before the day before the house
How did the
burned.
defendant respond to you dating someone new?
Well, I got a text from Josh on that Friday, shortly after our date was over, and the text just said, "Is it good?"
Did you respond?
I didn't know what he meant, and I didn't want to respond.
What further contact did you have with the defendant on the weekend of July 19th?
Well, that next day, Saturday, the 19th, he started texting and calling really early in the morning, and he didn't stop until that night.
What was he saying to you?
He was asking what was going on and just different stuff like that.
What did you think this meant?
Well, I figured that the neighbor must have told him about the other guy, and that's how he knew it. That's how Joshua knew it.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay?
What is your response?
Your Honor, present its impression, and it led the witness to her next actions.
Well, the hearsay is to the text messages. So
It wasn't? I'm sorry, then party opponent, Your
it's
Honor.
late, but it is what it is. What?
Well, in that case, Your Honor, it's a party opponent, so it would be admissible.
what foundation's been laid to establish that it's a state by a party opponent?
That we've identified the witness who is here as Joshua Walls. This witness knows Joshua Walls, had his number, was in a relationship. She knew that message was coming from Joshua Walls through her experiences.
Maybe lay that foundation with the witness before you proceed on those issues.
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, sustained, lay the foundation, then keep going.
Meg, what type of communication would you and the defendant have?
During our relationship, when he lived at the house, or after, towards the time of the fire.
More towards the time of the fire. What mode of communication would you have between the two of you?
Well, I didn't communicate with Joshua at all, but like I said, Joshua would text me a lot, and try to, especially that Saturday, like I said, Joshua was texting me all day.
How did you know it was Joshua?
Well, I had his number saved in my phone. It's the same number that he had when we were dating.
What did the defendant, what type of text message did the defendant send you on July 19th?
Well, he just wouldn't leave me alone. He kept asking me what was going on and just different things like that. Stuff about our relationship.
Did you respond to him?
I didn't want to, but based on the things he was, I picked up his calls, texted him back, but he was acting so crazy. I tried to ignore him. After a while, especially, I just had to ignore him. I tried to, be nice and cordial, but it had to stop.
How long did you ignore him?
I don't know. I've been dealing with it all day. I'd say it was the afternoon, probably around 5. I just stopped, just ignoring his calls and texts.
How did all this make you feel?
Well, like I said, Tammy and I just wanted to move on with our lives. But I was concerned because he was acting so crazy. He texted me that he wished God would remove him from this earth tonight. And that's when I really became concerned.
How long did this text messaging and communication continue from the defendant?
Through the night.
What, if anything, did the defendant ask you to do on July 19th?
Well, he said he left some things at my house, like his birth certificate, social security card, and he wanted to come over and get them. And I told him I'd leave them on the porch.
Did he give you a specific date that he wanted all of his important documents from the house?
It was on the same day of the fire, the 19th, when the same day he was texting me so much, all those crazy things.
Did you see the defendant that day?
I didn't talk to him. I saw him from the house. He came by around 8 and took the bag off the porch that I left there. He started calling me and texting me, asking me to come outside, and told him I wasn't coming outside because, again, I just wanted to move on. And this wasn't healthy for Tammy either, to have him coming around all the time.
Megan, what was the final message you received from the defendant on July 19th?
Right before I went to bed, he texted me and said, "This is some BS. You keep your head up." And then I received a text a little later saying that he would never call or text me again.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Showing opposing counsel has been previously marked as Exhibit 19. Showing the witness has been previously marked as Exhibit 19. What is this document?
I guess it looks like my house.
How do you know it's your house?
It's a diagram of how my house was laid out.
Is it fairly and accurately depict the layout of your house?
Yeah.
This time, Your Honor, I'd like to admit Exhibit 19 into evidence.
Any objection to Exhibit 19?
No objections, Your Honor.
Without objection, the state's Exhibit 19 will be entered into evidence.
Your Honor, may I have the witness step down and show Exhibit 19 to the jury?
You may.
Since I'm not Amanda, can we just do it from here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I have no objection to Ms. Edenbrock coming to show the jury what has just been entered into evidence. I only ask that I be allowed to move and see.
You may reposition.
I think we're just doing it for the stand today, but You testified earlier, all you did after breaking up was rearrange your house. Would you be able to show the jury on this floor plan how you did that?
Yeah, well, I guess the old bedroom that Joshua and I stayed in when Joshua and I were together was here, and I just needed to change things up a little bit. So I moved the bedroom to where I stay in here. I just moved to a different bedroom and let that be the guest bedroom, and then Tammy's bedroom stayed the same.
Okay. And where was Tammy's bedroom on the night of July 19th?
Right. I don't know where I'm pointing, man.
I know. Did you ever tell the defendant about the room change?
I didn't try not to talk to Josh, but it just, so no, and I don't know how he would have known. He'd never been back in the house after we moved out.
Where were you sleeping that night?
I was in my new bedroom. I guess I went to bed around 9:30, and after I put Tammy to bed.
What woke you up?
I heard a loud crash at the back of the bedroom window. Sounded like someone had thrown a rock or something in the back bedroom, the old bedroom.
What did you do?
Well, got up and put my glasses on, and just as I did, everything changed.
What happened?
Well, this firebomb came barreling through my window, covered in fire, and it just like exploded.
Where did it land?
Right under the back bedroom window, in between the bed and the dresser. And it caught the drapes on fire, and it went straight up the wall. The smoke alarm went off. It was terrifying.
So your house is on fire. What did you do?
Well, I had to run and get Tammy, but her door was locked. Teenage girls. I pounded and screamed, tried to kick the door. The fire and the smoke, it was spreading so fast. And when I realized I couldn't get the door open, I tried to run outside, frantically called 911. I was yelling for somebody to come help me get that door open.
What could you hear happening during this time?
Well, the fire was burning. I mean, you could hear it crackling. The glass was shattering.
How many times did you hear glass shatter?
Around 4 times, I guess.
When you ran out of the house, what did you do?
Well, I panicked because I thought Josh might be outside waiting for me, or that he might start throwing firebombs through the front windows. But the police were coming down the road at that point.
What happened when the police arrived?
Well, the cop ran back into the house, but because the smoke and flames were so intense, neither of us could do anything to get to Tammy. The fire trucks came a few minutes later.
What happened to Tammy that night?
She died that night.
To your knowledge, who was angry with you that night?
I think Josh was angry.
Objection or speculation?
Sustained.
Anyone else?
I can't think of anything.
What day did the defendant have you remove all of his things from your house?
I guess the night of the fire.
Where did you sleep when you were in a relationship with the defendant?
In that back bedroom where the firebomb came through the window.
And where did the firebomb land?
Near the bed.
Now, you testified earlier about the loud sound that woke you up. What did you find out later it was?
It had some fancy name, Mazel Tov cocktail or something like that. I don't know. It just looked like a bomb had exploded in my bedroom.
Every time, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Any cross-exam?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Eganbrat, you mentioned some text messages and calls from Josh, correct?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. He had been texting and calling all day.
And you responded to some of those text messages, correct?
At first, yeah, when he was like asking for his stuff, I thought he'd gotten all his stuff, but I looked in the drawer and he had his social security number and stuff in the drawer.
actually answered his phone calls that day too, didn't you?
Not all of them, no.
But you did speak.
At first, before
Okay.
I realized how crazy he was being.
But none of those messages threatened direct violence to you, did they?
I mean, I told you what they said. I think it sounds pretty crazy.
But he didn't, in any of those messages, threaten to hurt you in any way, did he?
No.
And the messages didn't scare you enough for you to call the police?
I had no clue that he would do something like this.
But you allowed him to come by the house that day, correct?
Like I said, I had no clue that he would throw a firebomb through my window and try to kill me.
But when he was there, he didn't threaten you, correct?
That's why I wouldn't go outside, because I didn't want to give him the chance to.
But you felt safe enough with him around to visit his dog at your house?
Yeah, like I said, I just had no clue that he was going to do this.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about the floor plan of your house. So if you can hold that back up for the jury. Now, that dog in the backyard, that's Joshua Wallace's dog, isn't it?
He really liked that dog, and like I said, I was trying to be nice, and so I let him keep the dog in the backyard. His new apartment didn't allow a dog.
All right, and can you show the jury just how close that doghouse is to your actual house and to those bedrooms?
I mean, this is just a diagram, but, I mean,
Didn't you previously state it was a fair and accurate representation of your floor plan in your house?
yeah, the floor plan, but I don't know about the doghouse. But it's just kind of, I mean,
Still, it's pretty close to your house. It's in your backyard. The doghouse is right outside of those back bedrooms. Is that correct?
yeah, yes ma'am, my doghouse is in my backyard. I don't know where else it would be, or it was in my backyard.
All right, now, Mr. Oh, you can put that down there right now. Mr. Wallace kept his dog tied at your house that night, correct?
It had been at my house since he moved out. I mean, it was such a great dog.
And then this dog actually died in the fire as well, isn't that true?
That's, yeah.
And Mr. Wallace, from what you observed, cared for his dog, correct?
From everything I could tell, yeah, I did too. Tammy even loved playing with the dog. That's one of the reasons I let it stay back there, is because Tammy, had just, it was tough for her when Josh moved out, and just, I mean, to have the dog go too would have just been so much.
But as we've stated, Josh Wallace cared for his dog and you'd come visit him regularly, correct?
Yes.
Now, you said that you woke up at 2 a.m. to a crash?
Yeah, I mean, with the fire and the noise and trying to get Tammy out, I never looked at a clock. But
But-
it was probably around 2 a.m.
All right, and you left the house to call 911 at 2:07?
I didn't know what time it was. They told me these things afterwards. It all happened so fast.
But it was at 2:07, correct?
I'm sure that's correct, if that's what they said.
All right, now, you estimated that there were 4 firebombs thrown that night?
I heard 4 crashes.
Okay.
I don't know what those meant. There could have been more I didn't hear. I don't know.
All right, now, you didn't see Josh throw the firebombs, correct?
Ma'am, all I hear was trying to get Tammy out of that house.
When you heard the first crash, you didn't see Joshua Wallace in your backyard, did you?
I was trying to get Tammy out of the house. I thought he could be back there, and I was terrified.
But you never saw him back there whatsoever. And you didn't see him throw any firebombs, correct?
No, but I think he is the one who threw them.
But you didn't see him throw any, correct?
I didn't need to see him throw them.
And you didn't see him at your home this entire time, correct?
I mean, he was there earlier that night.
But you did not physically see him at your home that evening.
I think I know he was there.
But you didn't hear his voice, correct?
No.
In fact, you didn't see anyone, or in fact, you didn't see him that whole day, correct?
Yeah, I saw him earlier that day.
And no further questions for this witness at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, any redirect?
No, this time, Your Honor.
Witness may be excused. Does the state have any further witnesses?
Yes,